Hey yo, what it do, what it do? It's your boy Q, and welcome to our first official Pick Ems for the 2025 RLCS season. We did drop our TLDW, too long, didn't watch, essentially a 5-minute recap video setting the field through week 1 of EU RLCS action, and I figured since we now have our field of 16 set, let's go ahead and do our Pick Ems all the way through AFL format, which will be our final decider for the weekend. So let's go ahead and get down and do what it do. Starting off in Group A, where Karmine Corp take on Salatio. And I think I mispronounced that, but I do sincerely apologize. Let's get down to it. Starting off in our group stages here, it's going to be best of 5s. Karmine Corp only dropped, one game through the course of group stages. I don't think they dropped one here. Karmine Corp looking. Wow, I'm already starting to trip over myself here. Already looking pretty solid. So I think I'm going to have to roll with them through in 3. When we talk about for Synergy versus 100%, these two teams did play against one another during the group stages where Synergy won 3-0. I don't think Synergy is going to be able to sweep 100%. Of course, Synergy, AJG, Dorito, and Tekka is a really good younger roster. Do I think Synergy still pulls off the dub? I think they do. I got to give at least a game to 100%, which is Louis P, Acro, and Rezi. But I do think Synergy still end up coming out on top there. They'll be facing off against Karmine Corp in that upper bracket semifinals. When we talk about as far as for start point, Gentlemates had a clean sweep through their group stages, through their Swiss stage, to get to the group stages here. I think they're going to continue with that run as well against Start Point. Start Point just really didn't give me anything, or at least not enough for me to think, hey, these guys look really, really solid going into as far as like the round as far as group stages here, right? Tanaka versus Save the Game should be an interesting one. Both of these two teams did play in they did not play during group stages. They play in opposite stages. Save the Game finishing 6th in Group B. We had as far as Tanaka, they finished 3rd. Their only loss was to Karmine Corp. They did take a game off of Karmine Corp, which leads me to believe that they're going to take this game here. How many games do I think they dropped to save the game is going to be the real question. I always feel weird seeing so many 3-0s during the upper bracket quarterfinals of a group stage. Even in this case where it's, 1 through 16 instead of, 1 through 8 like we saw last year, I think I am still going to give a game over to Save the Game, ironically enough. So that gives us our upper bracket semifinals here. Karmine Corp versus Synergy. I do think Karmine Corp is going to continue rolling through. I think Synergy takes one here. I think Karmine Corp has shown that they aren't like perfect. And I think that's okay too, right? We know they are a team that knows how to win when the win is needed the most. So I do think that they're not going to stumble here. Matter of fact, you can say the same thing about Gentlemates as well. Do we think Tanaka takes more than a game though? That's the real question, because Tanaka does have a pretty stout roster. I mean, Archie, Joyo, Oli. This is a team that we did see take a game off of Karmine Corp, right? Karmine Corp, Gentlemates, I feel like you can put them in kind of a similar basket. So I think I'm going to give Tanaka 1, which would then in turn actually give Gentlemates their first loss of the 2025 RLCS season thus far. And I think that also gives us what we're expecting to see up in that top part as well, which would be Karmine Corp versus Gentlemates. The good news for these two teams, since they are going to be advancing through that upper bracket, they are going to be in the upper part of the AFL format. It does still matter as far as seeding here. It's going to be a best of 5. I think it goes 5. Who do we think takes game number 3, though, is going to be... Or game number 5, though, is going to be the real question. I feel like Gentlemates have looked a little more stout, but of course, Gentlemates' strength of schedule hasn't really been the same either, which is part of the reason why Karmine Corp got the better seed due to the Buccholz ranking, right? I don't think these two versions of these rosters have not played against one each other, right, chat? I do think it's a toss-up. First event of the year. You know what? Go ahead and give me Karmine Corp just because... I believe in the blue wall, and we're going to roll with that as far as for the upper bracket. What do we think we want to do, though, chat, as far as, do we want to go to lowers for Group A for, I guess, is this Group A technically? I think it's considered Group A. Yeah, you know what? Let's go down to lowers here first and put things together here. So we've got, again, I think it's Salacio is how you pronounce it. I really feel bad if I'm mispronouncing that. I could very well be. Do we think they win a game over 100%? I'm going to give them 1. But that's going to be it. Start point versus save the game. Ooh, I think, did they play each other in? They did not play each other in. Oh, no, they did play each other in start or save the game. Did 3-0 that. Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like, or no, sorry, save the game 3-0'd that. And I was going to lean towards them. I don't think it's a 3-0 though. Or do they repeat? Yeah, they repeat and they sweep them there. Why not? Let's give them that. Which then sets us up as far as for our lower bracket, Tanaka versus 100%, Synergy versus Save the Game. Again, I really believe in this Tanaka roster. I mean, when you talk about as far as Joyo, Archie, Oli, I thought I'd seen rumors that this roster was getting picked up by someone. I just can't remember who it is right now off the tip of my head. Maybe if my editing brain can remember, we'll try and slide it up there on the screen for you. But nothing's been official. They're obviously still competing under Tanaka. I just feel like I've seen them under a quote-unquote banner on like a tier list or something like that. But yeah, I don't see a world where I don't think 100% takes down Tanaka. They didn't play each other during group stages. I think this one, I feel bad because I really have not been going 5 very often here today. And I feel like that's giving a little, not enough credit to good old Louis P, Rezi, and Acro. But I do think I got to roll with Tanaka 3-1 here. Going to that lower bracket final, which also qualifies them into that AFL format. Of course, it's still going to be about seeding from there. Our last seed into that AFL format, as far as for this group, first group, going to be between Synergy and Save the Game. I mean, I feel like either of these two teams probably going to be losing to Tanaka in that next round. I do think that Save the Game can at least take a game off of them, whereas if it was 100% down here, like if these two switched around, I don't know if I would have the same confidence. Synergy just looked so good. I mean, granted, their strength of schedule wins through Swiss wasn't exactly that great, right? You played Mr. Worldwide's 100%, and then Sick. Of course, Sick was the team that finished 9th, who had a pretty strong Buccholz series score. But I think I'm still going to rock 3-1 here. So that puts Tanaka versus Synergy in that lower bracket final. Oh, Synergy's looked pretty good too. This one might actually be a 5-game banger. Go ahead and give me 5 games in that one, but we are going to roll still with Tanaka over Synergy as far as wrapping things up there. Let's see. Let's go over towards Group B. I guess I could have read the things earlier, and it is indeed Group B that's taken care of, huh? Let's go ahead and start in Ninjas in Pajamas versus Ascend. Yeah, I got to rock Ninjas in Pajamas, and I'll call a sweep on that as well. Of course, Redemption versus Vitality, kind of a funny story here in this game. Vitality taken down by Fast Forward. Redemption beat Fast Forward in order to qualify for group stages. Of course, Vitality did go on to reverse sweep after that very disappointing loss in round number 1. We did talk about that in that video. By the way, if I haven't already put a card, maybe we'll try and put one up there at the top of the screen for you guys. That way, if you guys want to check out that video, that quick recap as far as how week number 1 broke down. I'll also have it linked at the end of the video for you guys as well, if you want to stay here as far as for our pick'ems. Vitality, though, I'm going to take over Redemption. I think Vitality comes into group stages with on a mission, at least against Redemption. I'm going to call it a sweep. I think this Ninjas versus Vitality game is going to be amazing to get to, but let's not get ahead of ourselves just quite yet. Stormtroopers versus Novo. Stormtroopers looking really, really solid. They are still an unsigned team, but everyone knows the trio, Appjack, Joria, Stizzy. Actually, I think I just saw today, and again, hopefully my editing version of Q can help me out here. I'm pretty sure they actually got announced today they're going to be playing under Dignitas. From here on out over in EU. So Stormtroopers, now Dignitas. And I think I'm going to go as far as Novo taking... Bro, someone's got to take some games over in Group B, but I just don't see it here. Maybe RRG versus Caliente. Because RRG did look solid as far as in their Swiss stages. Caliente has KDOP. KDOP, of course, an OG when it comes to EU Rocket League. I think this series gets interesting. I think Caliente forces it to a game 5, but I just don't see a world where Caliente takes down the RRG roster as it sits currently. Ninjas in Pajamas versus Vitality has to be a 5-game banger, right? I mean, it has to deliver exactly what we're expecting to start off EU. One of these two teams is going to lock themselves into a top portion of the AFL bracket. It's kind of crazy to think that one of these two teams is going to have to start off in the lower bracket. That's tough. Look, man, I think Ninjas in Pajamas is going to be one of those teams that qualifies for probably both lands. I just don't know if they're in a better spot than Vitality right now. I think Vitality takes it 3-2. Stormtroopers, otherwise now known as Dignitas. Again, I'm pretty sure after the confirming this morning, I think I saw that come across on the good old X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. Stormtroopers, I do think takes this one. I don't know if RRG takes more than a game. We'll give them a game as far as on here, which gives us Vitality versus Stormtroopers, aka Dignitas, in that upper bracket final of of Group B. And I think Vitality wins this one a little easier than they would have against Ninjas in Pajamas, which kind of sets up an interesting storyline kind of moving forward because NIP is going to be in that lower bracket, right? Send versus Redemption. Did they play against one another in groups, chat? Does anybody know? They played in the same group, didn't they? They did not. Group B was where Redemption was at. Ascend was in Group A. This is what, like a 6 versus 8, though. Do we think Ascend gets a game? I'm going to give them a game, but I do think Redemption is going to be the ones advancing to play against RRG. Novo versus Caliente did play against one another. Caliente won 3-2 in the Swiss stages. I'm rolling with KDOP to be able to do the same thing. Unfortunately, they earned themselves an exit out in the lower bracket semifinals because I do think Ninjas in Pajamas would be able to probably, 3-1 them, if not 3-0 them. This might even be a 3-0 just based off of the fact that Ninjas in Pajamas wanting to prove a point afterwards. RRG versus Redemption. These two teams did not play against one another, although they were in the same group. I think when we talk about how these two teams looked, RRG, did they have a similar opponent? I don't even think they had a similar opponent in their group stages. I think RRG takes it. The question is, does Redemption take one or no games? I think I'm going to roll with one. But in similar fashion to kind of like with Caliente, good news, even though you're losing to NIP here, it does still put you through on the qualifiers. I think RRG will take one. Ninjas in Pajamas, I do believe, take the top there. So that means as far as for Group B, we have Vitality versus Stormtroopers, Karmine Corp, Gentlemates, Tanaka Synergy over from Group A there. So that gets us... Oh, there you go. That way you guys can see that. I didn't realize I had that tucked behind my head there, so that's my fault, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into our final little bit. It is our AFL format. Karmine Corp versus Dignitas in a best of 7. I think I'm going to have to give Dignitas, aka Stormtroopers. I think we gotta give them a couple of games. Vitality versus Gentlemates. Man, Vitality has been getting quite the draw, huh? Or sorry, Gentlemates getting quite the draw. Already played against Karmine Corp and then starting in the AFL upper bracket versus Vitality. God, that's tough, bro. I think Vitality does win that one as well. I think this one, does it go 7? I don't know if it goes 7. I do think it goes 6, though, which is pretty respectable with the way that Vitality looks right now. So that means Tanaka, RRG, Ninja's Synergy starting off our lower bracket to fill everything in from there. By the way, chat, if you made it this far in the video and you like this type of content, or if you guys just like to kind of keep up with different esports across multiple titles, that is something that we do over here on the channel. So do me a favor, if you enjoy the vibe, man, we're chasing down that first 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you tap that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. But let's go ahead and roll through the last bit of our AFL finals here. Again, Tanaka versus RRG. Rizex, Rizfox, and Golf versus Tanaka. And again, that Tanaka trio has been looking really good. Archie, Joyo, Oli. Again, I believe they're also signed or maybe on the verge of signing. They should have an org here soon. I don't think they have one technically at the time of this recording. I think they take this one. We're just going to go game sixes like across. But I think Tanaka wins that one. I think for RRG, they're going to be one of those teams where I think if this was played out later on in the split, this could be a closer matchup. But I think for now, Tanaka wins this one pretty convincingly. Ninjas in Pajamas versus Synergy. NIP just might sweep this. I think they're going to need to because they're going to have themselves a tough draw if they win that. Or should I say when they win that. Playing up against Gentlemates. Rev. Gentlemates versus Ninjas in Pajamas. Oh, they both looked so good during groups. I think I'm going to have to rock with Gentlemates though on this one for now. Give me a 7-game banger though. Because that's something I would definitely love to see. Gives us Karmine Corp Gentlemates once again in the semifinals. Oh, that's tough. Honestly, ooh, Dignitas, aka Stormtroopers versus Tanaka could also be a 7-game banger. I think for now, I'm going to call it a 6-game banger with Stormtroopers, a.k.a. Dignitas, being able to advance from there. So that gives us our semifinals, Vitality versus Dignitas, Karmine Corp versus Gentlemates. All best of 7s. I think Gentlemates, oh, they went over Karmine Corp. Actually, let's start up top. I think Vitality does take down Stormtroopers. Ooh, 6, 5. Ooh, now I'm gonna go 6 here, and then Karmine Corp, Gentlemates. Man, dude, if this AFL format I think is gonna give us some bangers towards the end of it, man. I'm really excited to see how just this format breaks out over the weekend. I believe in the blue wall. Give me a 7-game banger. Give me Vitality versus Karmine Corp. I feel like this is the matchup that everybody would be hoping for here in our grand finals. And I mean, can you blame them? I mean, just look as far as the lineup here, right? I mean, the way everything looks is, you can't ask for much more. I'm going to pull this over a little bit more to finish off our thing here, chat. So Vitality versus Karmine Corp. By the way, big shout out to Cody V for putting this thing together. I see his name's underneath that champion thing. Honestly, doing the Lord's work over here for the RLCS community, man. These things are fun to put together each and every time. So make sure you give him a follow over on Twitter. Vitality over Karmine Corp. Vitality, the new super team. I think everyone's expecting to win this thing. Of course, they did show some vulnerability with the loss to Fast Forward. I think they take down Karmine Corp. I think we get a 7-game banger, which gives us Vitality all the way across at the end. So again, what we're looking at, we got start with Karmine Corp and Vitality being our 2 teams that advance from the top. Yeah, I like this list, chat. I mean, if you guys have anything that you would change, definitely feel free to let me know. But I think I'm digging the Vitality pick in EU RLCS Split 1 for the Birmingham Major. Event number 1, open 1, whatever they're calling them things these days. But definitely let me know what you guys think, where I hit, where I missed, how y'all are feeling so far about the RLCS season. We're only obviously a week in, but let me know how much you're loving it. What teams have surprised you? What teams you think have popped off more than you were expecting? What teams have disappointed thus far? Of course, remember every like, comment, subscription, all those things help me out as we're chasing down that first 1,000 subscribers over here on YouTube. So I do very much sincerely appreciate those, man. Until we do catch y'all back for the next one. Don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, Game hard and love hard. All right, y'all. It's your boy Q. Signing out.